Black barbecue sauce? What you got? Promo code OBOOMER for 20% off. I could always use some barbecue sauce. In these times of needs, what is the rotating ad reel on Obama's stream? It's Sweet Baby Ray's, Bing.com. He's got the Flintstones, right? Flintstones vitamins have saved so many lives. I don't know how many you have to take to be resistant to disease, but I imagine you're there. I bet you that was the first thing to sell out when everybody started freaking out. The very first thing they all did was start buying Flintstones vitamins. If you take 2 at a time, you become autoimmune to salmonella. Why do you think I've never had problems eating at Chipotle, man? Pop 2 of them bad boys, go in, ain't no problem. To be fair, I can't think of a worse collaboration. When I think of like healthy people, I don't think of the Flintstones. They're fucking like, they got these nasty feet out all the time and shit. They're hunting tigers. They don't seem to me like model, like, it's not like Superman. You're like, wow, look at Superman, he's buff. Wilma and Betty, though. Buck Obama, that's what I'm saying. I feel like Obama's one of those guys, right, where I'll be like, I'm really excited for this new game to come out, and he'll be like, you know what you have to do? You have to go back and play. You ever heard of Prince of Persia? And I'm like, yeah, I guess. It was like this old game. He's like, all right, well, don't play that shit. Go back. Go to the Genesis. You're going to try this game. You got to play through it one-handed, the other hand behind your back. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, he's always got some random-ass suggestion for what I have to play. It's never a game that was made in the last, like, decade and a half. Like, I don't understand. He's just so fucking old all the time. Obama, it's everything. I'll go to your stream and I'll be like, Obama, how you doing? You're like, have you played the Lion King, like, game back on the whatever the fuck it was? And I'm like, no. He's like, you should do that shit right now. He's always recommending some old-ass games. It's not just Mario 64. Symphony of the Night is probably what it was. Yeah, it is God. I mean, look, everybody loves Symphony of the Night. I'm just saying, I've never seen him suggest a game that was made in the last 15 years. This motherfucker's like 5 years older than me, all right? Or 4 years older than me. He's like, you know what's sick? And he's suggesting me games that are fucking 90 years old and shit. I'm like, what? I guess hanging around Giuna has transformed him, Old Giuna and old Obama hanging out in the studio. If it's not an old-ass game, it's an old-ass match, or it's an old-ass cartoon or anime. It's always something. I'm like, I'm gonna buy a clock. And he's like, you know what you should get? Look it up, a sundial. The ancient peoples, this is what they did. I'm like, bro, what? Why do I fucking need a sundial? You know what I mean? It's always like some shit like that. I'm like, what are you talking about? Why the fuck did you just tell me to get a sundial? You know, now that I think about it, a sundial might be pretty cool. I need a car. He's like, you ever seen the Flintstones? Gotta run that shit with your feet, man. Them nasty ass toes. And then he laughs. And I'm like, what? Obama. I'm fucking with you. You know what I actually wanted to ask you about is when the fuck are you going to continue this fan fiction? Have I ever played the original Jazz Jackrabbit for MS-DOS? I don't even know what I don't even know what that is. You can run it on a Linux-based emulator on modern Windows PC, but it inspired everything that came after. I feel like this would make valuable content for your stream and a YouTube media outlets. Thanks and God bless you, man. Oh, Obama's a treasure, isn't he? The fact that he highlighted it is what makes him a treasure. He highlighted that shit so I would see it. How do I not know what MS-DOS is? Are you guys fucking 90? How old are you? Do I know what floppy disks are? I do. In elementary school, we would go to the computer labs, and then in the computer labs, there's games on floppy disks that we would play, or other programs that we would use on there. Is DOS after a floppy disk? I don't understand. I feel like Jazz Jackrabbit is made up. I feel like that's not even a real game. MS-DOS is like command prompt. Okay, that makes sense. You now are speaking to my millennial brain. I know what typing CMD does into Windows, yes. I understand what a command prompt is. It's a platformer, you're a green rabbit, a bit like Bucky O'Hare. Who the fuck is Bucky O'Hare? Bucky O'Hare is the guy that's with Captain America and an airport in Chicago, as far as I'm concerned. Those are two different things. Bucky, comma, O'Hare. Why are you putting the old man emoji? It's like the opposite. I don't know this shit because y'all motherfuckers are old. That's what it is. I saw this guy Obama at Evo. I gotta say, the funniest thing I've ever seen. We were talking about SRK or some shit like this, and this guy Obama just looks at Ultra David unprovoked and just goes, yeah, like back in the day on the SRK forums when you said that UCLA was absolutely robbed for not being into the top 10 of, like, he made some He got mad at him from some like 2005 college football post that he made on SRK 10 years ago or something, like 12 years ago. It was some absurd thing that Obama remembered and called him out on. And like, David was like, how the fuck? Like, he's like, I remember saying that, but I don't remember any of it. I don't understand. I don't even know what the actual thing you said was, but I just know that it was hilarious. David was so in that thread. I mean, he admits that he was there. It's just shocking that you guys have known each other for multiple years now and it's never come up. He's been holding on to that shit for like 15 years, right? It's been like, this has been something that he's been stewing on for all this time. And he's known David and seen him in person for multiple years. Talking about 15, 16-year-old forum receipts and shit. I was like, what? It was brought to my attention a tweet here. Now, I barely even clicked on this tweet on my main browser because I don't want my browser history to reflect this. Eris tweets Animal Crossing, buy a shirt, will ya? Raylo Black, who the chat room calls her Lore Black, which I don't know what the confusion is there. Raylo Black TV says, I'm a big fan of your Animal Crossing play. And he says, thanks, smile. What a combination of things I see on my timeline. Raylo Black, or Lil Ray Black as the chat seems to name her, she works in an industry that, you know, I can't show you on my Twitter feed. Anyway, I thought that this is a really hilarious crossover. Can you guys believe this? I'm proud to have her in my browser history. Jesus. I now have her in my browser history. I gotta delete this shit.
Listen.
If you're a real one, you will use Bing.com search with the volume up and do it in front of your family. The way you support Bing.com makes me laugh. It's just such a wholesome thing. It's like Ask Jeeves. Somebody who's a real big Ask Jeeves fan. I got no problem with Jeeves. He's dressed well. He brings things to the table that I'm a fan of, you know?